Chipper Jones called out the Hall of Fame voters for Major League Baseball, saying, I want to ask all the Hall of Fame voters one question. If Andrew Jones played for the New York Yankees for 15 years with 10 gold gloves, 400 home runs, 1,300 RBIs, is he a Hall of Famer? Let me answer for you. First ballot. Time to have a conversation about Hall of Famers chiming in. 75 living members can make sure it's right. I agree with Chipper Jones here, and I've noticed, one thing you have to understand is where the media comes from, right? You're not going to have a lot of media members in Ohio, okay, or Middle America. Most of your media for sports comes from the East Coast or the West Coast, whether it's Los Angeles, California, or New York. And that's where sports writers really come from. It's either the East Coast or the West Coast. You don't have much of a mix in between. Now, with that said, it's easy to jump to the conclusion that a lot of these guys are biased towards Yankees or, Dodgers or whatever the case may be. With that said, a lot of them also just want to be different. You know what I mean? Like, someone actually voted for Ichiro to be left out of the Hall of Fame. Why? You know what I mean? Like how do you justify that? I want to know. I want to know. Other than trying to be the cool guy in the room, the smartest guy in the room that sees something that nobody else sees, how in the world do you justify the decision to say that Ichiro is not a Hall of Famer? You get my point there, guys? It just shouldn't happen. And I think we need to start taking into account more the players. A guy like Chipper Jones, who, I grew up watching, and I rooted against him, you could say, right? I'm a Mets fan. He played for the Atlanta Braves, but I always respected Chipper Jones for the player that he is. And I always knew that I was watching one of the best, And 100% I would respect his opinion on the game more than some of these guys that they have voting in the media. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're just opinionists. Like myself, I'm an opinionist, That's what I do. That's what my content is being an opinionist. But make no mistake, I would not stand up here and act as though you should listen to my opinion over, let's say, a George St. Pierre. I'm bringing it back to MMA because that's mostly what I talk about. But you know what I mean? Like, there's something to that. And I'm not saying that we have to appeal to authority either, because there's plenty of times where I disagree with the authority. There's plenty of times where someone is a player and they're just wrong. For example, look at Shaquille O'Neal. I know I'm bringing you to all these different sports, but look at Shaquille O'Neal on Inside the NBA. Go search up his discussion with Charles Barkley about coaching. Shaq thinks coaching doesn't matter. And another player like Charles Barkley says, no, you're wrong. And I happen to agree with Charles Barkley. I think coaching does matter. But somebody could say, oh, well, Charles Barkley has no rings. Shaq has rings. His opinion means more. And I disagree with that. So appealing to authority doesn't always work. And there's your example right there of why it doesn't always work. But in this case here, it would work. In this case here, if you have 75 living members of the Hall of Fame, let them chime in, let them get a vote, and let's see where things really shake up. Because, not for nothing, you got guys being left out of the Hall of Fame, and they shouldn't be. You got guys who are out here laying it all on the line for years. Injuries, missed family moment, everything for their legacy, right? They put all of their life's work into their craft, which in this case is baseball, only for some columnist, some media member to sit up and say, nah, he's not a Hall of Famer. Okay, well, look at the numbers laid out for you. Look at the numbers. How do you not respect those numbers? How do you I think you could make the argument, like he's saying, about playing for the Yankees because I saw CC Sabathia was it was unanimous. Like everybody was just like, yeah, not unanimous, but he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He got 86% of the vote. My question is how? Like CC Sabathia was really good, but a first ballot Hall of Famer? And if CC Sabathia is a first ballot Hall of Famer, there's a bunch of other guys that should be first ballot Hall of Famers too. So I don't know. I agree with Chipper Jones. Let the players have a say, and let that be that. But let me know what you think in the comment section below, whether you agree, disagree. It doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, follow for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.